Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly collective reading. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. It is great to see all of you, and as always we have a lot to cover today. We're going to start off with some channeled messages, and I had some wild information that came through, so I can't wait to share that. And our special topic today is Phoenix Rising, blazing into the possibilities, and that's probably why the dreams were kind of intense, because the Phoenix usually comes through after a tumultuous period. So we will be looking for different ways to kind of like break through blocks or difficulties, which will come up naturally, and then really focus on overcoming it. Transmutation was a big theme of a lot of the things that I was picking this week. So hopefully it resonated. And again, it's great to see everybody. So there's more to this. We'll look at a 7-day forecast, elemental check-in, and then that special topic. But first things first, I'd like to start off with channeled messages. We'll say a quick hello to Apollo, who is chilling out right behind me. And hey, buddy, how's it going? All right, back to work here. Let's go into the channel messages. So this morning, like I said, it was pretty intense. What I saw in dreams, first of all, was a metaphor for skating on thin ice, literally. A skater, and I think of like times when the ice would be thin. It would be right around like the season that we're in now in the Northern Hemisphere, between fall and winter, when things start to freeze over. So we're probably looking more at November. But even though we're looking at a weekly forecast, the message here is as you get into the next month, it's really important for you to focus on not overextending yourself and not going into something prematurely. Because if I really think about what skating on thin ice means, it means that something hasn't fully solidified. And it's important to lay the groundwork and really get to that point where it's safe. Because I saw someone then start skating, and they were trying to perfect something that didn't need to be perfected. This was the other thing. So sometimes it's exactly as it should be. I don't like to use the word good enough, but it's perfectly fine because there's something else that deserves your attention. And if you go back, what I saw then was the ice cracking. And then it wasn't just like the person falling in there. I watched as there was like a ricochet effect or domino effect where like this big sort of divide happened, almost like what you would see with an earthquake. So there's another thing that's coming through, which is a seismic shift in your life. And we're looking at the next quarter of the year. I mean, we're in it right now, but the next couple of months could create some really significant changes, and you want your feet on solid ground. So Spirit showed me two ways to show that. One was skating on thin ice, rushing into something. The other one was the earth is moving, and this can represent a tower moment where you might have to, if you don't move, you'll be moved. That's basically what the tower shows. And I've never really thought of like an earthquake being tower, but it is definitely a tower moment. And if you think of the tower card, people may also be falling in or out of your life. And it could seem very quick when this happens. So there may just be someone that decides to take a job in another part of the world, or someone that you love and you have to decide, do I want to move with them? So you could be pulled with people. People could be jettisoning out of your life. They could also be coming into your life very quickly. And this creates changes. None of this necessarily seemed negative per se. There was just a lot going on at once. And so it's important to have your feet on solid ground. And that's the big takeaway for all of this. And I just generally did get like death and rebirth. If I had to kind of pull a couple of mental tarot cards, this would remind me of the death card. And Phoenix Rising is very much the judgment card. And it's the two sides of the coin. So I mean, we're getting closer to Halloween, so this is perfectly themed to look a little bit at that. And we'll go deeper into that on Halloween too. All right, why don't we get started? That was a lot coming through channel, but I woke up this morning in one of those, I mean, it didn't even feel like a dream. I'll kind of process that more. There might have been some prescient things coming through, but because of the sort of topic today, I really think it fits in nicely. All right, let's continue. I would like to now go into the 7-day forecast. In this portion, we're going to get really drilled into what's coming through in this week ahead. So without any further delay, let me begin. I'd like to remind everybody that came here just to kind of like take a nice deep breath, let go of any preconceived ideas that you might have had when coming in here. Imagine yourself in a circle of white light, call in your angels, spirit guides, ascended masters, and let's begin. But not without giving Apollo a treat, because he's over there saying, Dad, don't forget about me. I know you're going to be busy for a while. All right, there you go, buddy. All right. Apollo's ready, so are we. Let's see which deck I'd like to use. I think this one is good. Okay, we had a few nuanced cards where there's two, and I'll let it happen when it wants to happen. So there's a lot coming through in this week, and that doesn't surprise me based on what I was picking up on. Okay, so let's take it day by day, starting with today. And as I take a look at the energy of Sunday, we have Five of Pentacles coming forth. Healing, recalibrating, particularly when it comes to money and how you spend your time, energy, and attention even, because it's all in the energy of resources. So make sure that it's more than break even. The Five of Pentacles often comes through when we tend to over-deliver. That perfectionist tendency that I was picking up on could actually make something more, not just more difficult, but you might have to go back and fix even more, because sometimes when you go, it's kind of like a cake or something. Everything looks good and you touch one thing and then it kind of collapses. That's what I was seeing. Like, it's done. Something that you're trying to perfect, I think it's as good as it's going to get. There's a difference between giving up and realizing that's it. It's baked. Let's put it out there. Spend your time wisely today. That's the main thing here. And take care of your general health and well-being. The Five of Pentacles can be something like a cold, a flu. It can also be this feeling of being left out in the cold too. But cold and flu, very important. I just went through something fascinating. I like to share sometimes because I think it helps. But finally found myself a good ENT. I had to go to like 4 of them. But I had some pressure in my ears, a little bit of loss of hearing, which is super scary. And lo and behold, I think it's from the CPAP that I was using, so I've stopped. And I had to go on massive like steroids to help, and it's starting to relieve the pressure. And anyway, more about that another time. But like, pay attention. I'm very proactive, so if I notice something that's wrong and I can't find the right doctor, I had to go to 4 doctors to get the right and like urgent care. That's why I've not been well for the past month. There's been inner ear issues, and I'm on medication. So please be patient with me on some things. It's just taking me time to recalibrate. I probably feel the best today that I've felt in weeks. Take care of yourself. Don't let somebody ignore you because of age. Sometimes when you're younger, they don't think you might have a problem that you have. Sometimes when you're older, they discount the problem. Ageism is real. And it cuts both ways. So you have to be very, very much your own best advocate. Be your own Aaron Brockovich and fight for yourself, okay? When it comes to wounds from the past, this can also indicate that for some of you, there may be someone who just wasn't there in the way that they needed to be there for, or you needed them to be there for you. In this situation, sometimes forgiveness can help. You can just look and say they didn't have the tools or the capacity. But it's okay to be upset. You just have to work through it and decide, is it worth it? Do I want to spend time and energy worrying about this person right now? So anyway, thank you. And I love to share stuff when it actually is pertinent, but that was pertinent to that card. You got to pay attention to your body and stop when you need to stop. That's also why I've been slower on the monthlies. Like, the medications affect me, and I had to get off some of them so that I can do it. That's why I've been doing 2-month videos, because I have an upcoming move. I have some health challenges. So I had someone the other day say, well, I'm just going to unsubscribe. And I thought, that is so not tuned in. Like, I'm trying to pace myself. And so sometimes, like I said, people can jettison out, but better people will come in. And it's kind of like that. It's a balancing act. Friends, family members, peers, so be it. That's kind of, you have to kind of like take care of you. That's the most important thing right now, is to take care of your health and well-being. All right. So taking a look here at Monday. Much better energy, 3 of Cups in reverse. This is a day where, oddly enough, you may have a lot of knocks at the door, a lot of invitations for connecting. Someone want to meet for coffee, for instance. Say yes. Not to everything and everyone. You can be discerning with the 3 of Cups in reverse, but sometimes it's nice just to be seen and heard without having things kind of like get in your headspace too much. This can represent a clique. So there could be people in your life right now that you admire, you wish you could be a part of the group, but they're not welcoming. And in this situation, honestly, sometimes it is better to just let bygones be bygones. You have better time, better places to spend your time and energy. So I wouldn't sort of like immediately connect with this clique. In fact, go to places where it's more inclusive. And if you see someone that's left out or that's not being supported, do what you can to be supportive of them. Lead by example. This can, like I said, it can also be gossip. Avoid that. And if someone else is gossiping, put a stop to it too. Just say, what are you talking about? We shouldn't be, that person's not here. We don't have the full story. Like, why don't we just hit the pause button until everything has, or I don't want to be a part of this conversation if we're still talking about this. So sometimes you just have to put a line in the sand. And usually people will say, okay, if you don't want to talk about it, okay. There's a time to spill the tea, and there's a time not to. When this card is reversed, that's what they're doing. The tea is spilling. So we don't want to do that. Moderation as well. Don't overdo it. Overworking, over partying, anything of that nature. Okay, let's take a look at what's coming through on Tuesday. We have Ace of Swords energy coming through reversed. With the Ace of Swords in reverse, it's important to take action. If there's anything that you've been delaying, this is kind of like the procrastinator's card that pushes them forward. This is the day where you can do some editing or revision or changing in particular. And so maybe one of the notes is just wait a couple of days and let things settle and see if it's really worth it. You can weigh it out. Is this worth it? This can be a simple no, just like Justice reversed. And it's often just encouraging brevity. You can always say more. You can never put it back in your mouth. So better to say a little, ask a question, leave a space, and think. Think through your words, think through your actions, because swords basically contain both of those energies. But with an ace, there could be an idea coming back to you too. Someone could be offering you something and you just have to sit with it. You don't have to say yes immediately. Think before you speak, definitely. All right, taking a look here at the middle of the week, we got two cards. The main energy was the Two of Cups in reverse. Two of Cups in reverse can be someone who may be more the kind of person that they take more than they give, or they don't take social cues. So they're friendly and you like hanging out with them, but there's a time and a place, and they're not getting that, like right now you might be busy or focused on something else, and then they take that personally. So just create some space, give them their time and space too. They'll probably come back around. It's okay to say no. It's okay to push back. Here's the kind of energy that's coming forth, which is Queen of Cups. I feel like someone just needs to unload a little bit. So there needs to be a right time and place, and I'm not sure if Wednesday is that for you. You may also be seeking, searching, hoping for this better connection that we see here with the Two of Cups and the Queen of Cups. You know that I will repeatedly say here, don't force a connection. Like a first date, you either vibe or you don't. If there's a friend in your life that's a little standoffish, check in with them, see what's going on. Both of you may need to unload, is kind of what I'm seeing here, and vent and get some advice from one another. They're still very positive cards, but you have to have special boundaries on Wednesday with respect to social interactions, how available you want to make yourself, and just make sure that there's definitely more reciprocity that day, okay? Things are looking great on Thursday, possibly one of the highlights of the week. The Emperor is a card of power. He's out there inspecting things, doing things. It reminds you to get out of your office, out of your home, out of school, to get out and like be in the real world, and then roll up your sleeves and literally put things into motion. So this is an active Emperor, not a passive Emperor. It's about reclamation and also making sure that what you've talked about with someone, it's actually happening. So it's a little bit of a gut check, and it's a progress check too. If there's something that you want, need, or just have to address, Thursday's a great day because people tend to listen a little bit more with Emperor energy, either of those two. I would say the only thing to do sometimes when you have a big authority card, and this is one of the ultimate ones, is to make sure that you lead by example and you're also listening. Good leaders are able to listen. All right, at the end of the week, as we look at Friday, we have the Nine of Swords. You might be taking some of your troubles to sleep, or you might be taking some of your work or school stress home. or family drama, to your extracurricular activities, and it's about decompressing in a proper way. So sometimes with Nine of Swords, you need like a physical outlet, exercise. You could sometimes use a psychologist or friend. Your friend may not be available on Wednesday, so you might have to find a different sort of outlet there. That's okay. And the other thing here with Nine of Swords is, of all of the cards in tarot that might represent trouble or challenges, the Nine of Swords is usually one where we complicate it or make it a little bit more intense than it needs to be. So context helps. If you can't see the silver lining, or if you're having a difficult time getting through something, it can be very helpful to find peers, other people in your life that can help, and to reach out. So you don't have to do this all on your own. One other thing with the Nine of Swords before we wrap up on that is some of you may just need to regulate the sleep schedule a little bit more, and it takes sometimes a full week for that circadian rhythm to get back on track. But darkness can help. If like you could always buy some of those, like a sleeping mask, making sure that you're not drinking or eating too close to bed, so that you don't have to get up and use the restroom in the middle of the night. And also, like, what are you consuming as far as music, television, or news? Making sure that all of those things aren't amplifying. I think it's safe to say we shouldn't watch any news before bedtime right now, at least not for the next few years. I'm all for being informed, but not at like 10 o'clock. That's not going to help the dreams. All right, let's look at what's coming through on Saturday. Some good stuff, actually. There could be a surprise. So it's interesting that the top card here is the Sun, and then we have something unseen, unexpected. So a happy surprise. And it's also reminding you to be on the outlook for something good. Just setting the expectation is powerful. I'm ready for this positive change. I can't wait for this thing in my life to manifest. Maybe it's going to happen sooner than later. This is like the eternal optimist here, the Sun. Typically like a little kid, carefree, but I love the way she's embracing her power. She's embracing the energy of optimism, and she's kind of like the Queen of Wands, who also has these sunflowers on her as her kind of like symbol. So it's like, I'm going to rein this in, pull this in, and then things are going to follow. And not everything that can be exists right now. So I'm not going to worry if I don't see it yet. And I'm not going to think myself into a prison of possibility. Different way to look at it. Prison of thought, prison of possibility. Okay? Saturday should be good. Something unexpected, but in a good realm. Then we have a fulfillment card here, wish fulfillment on Sunday. That's why I think that's really cool. Like when you look at the progression of those three cards, Nine of Cups, something really great could come through. It's also a reminder, this is the day to socialize. A great day for a party, a great day to hang out with others. Your spiritual team and besties are up there in the higher realms saying, let's do this. Let's have have a good time. All right. Sometimes with this, we feel things so much more intensely than they need to be felt. So there is also a reminder to breathe, just breathe through it and keep your head on straight. But I like where we're headed. And it looks like we are going to be that Phoenix rising by the next weekend. So yay for that. Well, I mean, we're going into a powerful weekend soon. I'm just looking at the calendar to make sure. It is the week before Halloween, but I feel like that whole week becomes very powerful because the veil is thinner and you have much more access to the other side. So I feel like this upcoming 2 weeks are going to be really, really cool. All right, so let's get into highlights and lowlights or challenges, and then we'll move into the next portion. Okay, so I think the highlights this week, as I said, Thursday looks really, really good. I think next weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, great. Your biggest challenge today because of health, don't burn yourself out, and possibly Friday because you're making something bigger than it needs to be. The rest of these are very, very manageable. So if you are looking for days to take it easy, that's today. You have my permission not to do a lot. You don't need it. My encouragement. Friday, self-care is so important. Rest, get ample rest. If you can take a sick day, take a sick day. But then Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday are fantastic. Okay? So now let's move into the next portion of this reading. We're going to take a look at the elements: fire, earth, air, and water. This will be the only portion that is specific to signs. Everything else is for everyone that showed up. All right, so let me see which deck I'd like to use for this. I might do Curious. Oh, actually, I'll do this. Fire, earth, air, water. All right, we've got some powerful energies coming through. We'll start off with our fire signs: Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. All right, let's see what's coming through for you. So you got the Five of Swords. Five of Swords, never one of my favorite cards, but because of the way this one's illustrated, I think it's taking control or charge over the inner saboteur that tells you things like, this isn't going to happen, you can't do it. It's not listening to your intuition. So the Five of Swords would be directly at odds with the High Priestess. She knows what to do. She knows how to do it. I'm pulling the traditional card. But the Five of Swords has a difficult time listening. It's constantly talking your higher self out of things that make sense. So don't listen to the fears. I had a really great topic, which I will choose at some point, maybe as a just reader's choice. It's been a while since I did one of those, but from fear to possibility or something like that. But you have to move beyond the fear. And sometimes this person comes through, this inner voice, and just says, you can't do it, it's not going to happen, and you're not listening to common sense. So it can just be the inner saboteur. This can also be a person in your life that maybe not on purpose, but they don't take accountability and they can't listen to feedback. There's better places to spend your time and energy. She's kind of taking charge and taking the power back, and you can do that with the Five of Swords. You can cut your losses and just walk away. So this person might just be saying it's not worth it. This person he got the better of. Either way, you don't want to feed the energy of the Five of Swords, whether it's the inner voice that's holding us back or an external voice that's trying to gaslight us, that's not taking accountability, that's pointing fingers but never looking in the mirror. We all have people like that. So this week, some of those challenges could arise. But most of you, it's just going to be the inner voice where you think to yourself, I don't know if I can do this. So in that case, it's so much easier. We saw that there are several days that you can do it. The middle of the week what was it? Let's see. Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yes, you can absolutely do it. The other days are the ones to kind of like be a little bit more cautious in the areas that we talked about, but you've got this, okay? Cut your losses where necessary, stay positive, and speak in the realm of possibilities whenever possible too, okay? Let's move on from fire to earth. So this is for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Three of Cups, it actually came through on Monday. Three of Cups reversed. In this illustration, you can see she's trying to balance a lot, trying to make everyone happy. It's a different version of the Three of Cups. Trying to go to the family party, the work party, a friend's party, maybe not making enough time for her own fun, or maybe dating is getting in the middle of everything and making it hard to concentrate. So you're going to be discerning. I choose to focus on this, not that. And there's probably not room for like one more thing socially this week. Be smart about it. Pace yourself. Definitely not the time to gossip. So I mentioned earlier how you can address that. Just simply going somewhere. Just people will get a nonverbal cue too when something's weird. Just say, I need to go get back to work, or I got to make a phone call. Just excuse yourself. You don't even need to take the high road, but with like saying something, you can just do it. You can just walk on the high road. And just don't go to extremes. Three of Cups can be a vice or a coping mechanism that can provide temporary joy, but it can go overboard. So not as much as Nine of Cups reverse, but you just want to be careful this week. There could be a new person coming into your life unexpectedly. Could be good. There can also be someone in your life that's trying to insert themselves where they shouldn't. A friend or family member that thinks they know everything that's right for you, and you're like, please butt out. Or there could be someone like an in-law that's trying to get in between you and your partner and your relationship and cause some trouble. So boundaries are everything, okay? Let's move on from Earth to fire. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You're very aligned with what we were talking about in our special topic later today here, the Judgment card. This is the Phoenix rising, souls rising up from the dead. This is also tuning in to higher guidance. It is one of the angelic cards. So Judgment, the Lovers, the Angel of Death, Death card, all of these are very powerful, and Temperance, because they're angelic. And when those come through, major shifts are happening in your life. And maybe that's why I'm picking up on some of the Libra energy that's coming through, where this, as you enter into birthday season, there's a lot going on. But all air signs, I feel like you're pivoting a little bit. It's important not to lose your head. I like the way the person's tuning in, the angel's tuning in. It's trying to send you also guidance. I mentioned with Temperance that the universe speaks quietly. With Judgment, here's something that's interesting. It's time. It's like a wake-up call. So it's not subtle. And so you may literally get a call or an email or this kind of like epiphany. I need to do this now. It's already been written. So if there's something big that you're wrestling with, this is something that you chose before you even ended up in this lifetime. It's now about acceptance. A reverse judgment is like, I know it, but I don't accept it. So the biggest thing that you can work on this week is acceptance. And then if there's something really difficult, doing everything you can to rise up to the occasion. That's what the souls are doing here. They're rising up to a new form, a more powerful form. It's not easy. Judgment is transformation. It's the other side. Dare I say the Death card sometimes is easier because it's done. Something's done. But the coping happens in the Judgment card, even though they're not completely one after the other. It's also the penultimate card, so right after this, things get really good. Then we have the World. So like the song by Florence and the Machine, it's always darkest before dawn, shake it out. So, sometimes we just have to shake out whatever it is that is clinging to us, the monkey on our back, and then say, I am ready now. This is what I came here for, okay? So that's my pep talk from the Judgment card for all the air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Don't overthink. Don't get in your headspace too much. I really do think you've got this. All right, and now let's go into the water signs. You have arguably the best card of everything this week. We have the Star. So the Star comes through to remind us that we are ready and able and hopefully willing to shine. So in my own meditation last night, as I was pushing out I feel so much better. I meditated for like 2.5 hours because I was having a hard time sleeping, because of some of the medication. So I really just sat there and put in healing energy through my body. And at a couple of points, I just imagined that I was a sun or a star that just took light, like became ignited. And I pushed everything out in all directions that didn't need to be there. And I just felt the healing golden energy go through my body. And so that's something that you can visualize with the star. A fun fact, everything on this planet came from a star. In the beginning of the universe, there were just large stars that lived and burned a short life, but then when they went supernova, they created heavier elements, rocks and metals and all the wonderful things that we love on this planet. So we are stardust. We are billion-year-old carbon, to quote Joni Mitchell. So we have the capacity in our thoughts and words and actions, of course, they're all manifestation. And so never underestimate your star power. You shined once. You shone in the heavens. So you can do it in your own life. And it is a very powerful meditation technique. Like I literally felt my entire energetic field amplify. And that's why I feel better this morning. Like 2 hours of meditation, 2.5 hours is a lot, but I needed it last night. And I don't always do it. I help all of you. I was like, I need to help myself. So help yourself, shine, and then rise up to the challenge or the occasion and say, I really want to do this. I'm going to shine all of my energy into this one thing and give it the best that I can, okay? This is a great time this week to put yourself out there. This is the card of celebrity. So you can be seen. You can make a case, make a presentation. Or if there's a persuasive argument that needs to be done, this is the time to do it. If you want to go out on a date, this is the time to do it. If you just want to push through something, think of the star giving birth to itself. You can do it. It's a self-contained energy. So Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, make the most of this week. It looks like some great things can happen, all right? But that's good messaging for all of us. Take some time in your day today to imagine that you're just pushing out your light, like the kind of corona of the sun, reaching out, like we kind of show them as those little wavy lines when you draw the little squiggles as a kid. But I want you to push out your light and bring it in from source too, and then just imagine that it goes out, okay? Today's special topic is Phoenix Rising, blazing into the possibilities. So let's blaze into the possibilities. All right, I'm going to select a deck of cards here, and we'll get started. Maybe I'll do lights here. Let's see which ones once it comes through. No, it's going to be this one. Sometimes I let the decks decide which ones want to be the prominent one here, so it's this one. All right, here we go. We're going to be looking at Phoenix Rising, blazing into possibilities, helping us transmute challenges in our lives. All right, let's begin. We'll start off with your two catalyst cards. A reminder to clear out energies, and then also new beginnings here, but I think it is in that order. So this came through reversed when I pulled it. There was a lot of reversals today. We don't always take time to clear our thoughts, the old patterns in our life, and also even just our space. If we do spring cleaning, why don't we do fall cleaning, winter cleaning, summer cleaning? It's good throughout the year to just say, how does this serve me? This person, this place, this thing, this inanimate object. Do I still need that in my life? If not, it's time to release. Also, literally, it can be a smudging ritual like you see here. And there's so many different ways to smudge, sage and incense being two of the most accessible. But however you practice energetic clearing, even just charging your crystals or whatever, like now's the time to do some of that. When you can even do it like just with a regular broom. As you sweep your space, sweep the energy out the door and say, done with that. You can do it with your vacuum. You can do it with your duster. You're moving energy. That's why cleaning is powerful. So if you're stuck in your life, clean your house. Then clear your head, and then do a quick audit of who you're spending time with. Clean it all out. It will help. We see something new coming into action. This kind of reminds me of like a cell that was ready to divide. So it takes a moment, but then things kind of blossom after that. So new beginnings, and the ability also, when I think of spring, not only as a season, but as an object that can spring upward, it feels like you might be regaining some momentum or power right now, and the clearing helps empower that. Okay? All right, so let's see what's going on here. I want to kind of glance at this. I like that the Justice card is there. Okay, there are some things that need to be kind of like released for sure. When I look at hopes, fears, and possibilities with Justice there's some stuff that just really isn't serving you anymore, so I'll try to help you out with that. But first things first, let's go to the Eight of Cups. Second chances and perspective. There might be something coming back into your life right now that has been gone for a while. Could be a relationship, could be an opportunity. You might be deciding to go back and finish something that you started a long time ago. Going back and getting a degree, going back and finishing up a project, or saying something that you've always needed and wanted to say to someone. If you're very busy and in the throes of something and there's a big decision on the horizon, this encourages you to get some distance. So with her, she carries like the ninth cup, which would be the wish fulfillment. So there's room for her to come back and put the fulfillment cup there. And so she's going to go away, understand what's going on, come back and say, now I'm ready to accomplish my dreams. I can say yes to this or no to this, and I know which path I need to take. But I have to do some soul searching. So to get to your Phoenix rising, you need a break, some distance, or some perspective. That's the most important thing, maybe in the whole spread. You're too close to it. You're too close to the situation. You might need a second opinion. Like me, I got 3 or 4 opinions on my health issues, so you have to just keep looking until something resonates. So if you're not clear on a job, a home, a relationship, or a path, step back and say, I clearly am not ready enough to sign on the dotted line. If someone else decides to do it, fine, but I need at least a night to clear my head and decide, how do I feel tomorrow? Anything worth doing, you usually have a little bit of a window. There may be times where you have to decide immediately. In that moment, just ask yourself if the hesitation is anything other than fear. Sometimes it is just like, no, I have a gut instinct, this isn't right. Then you want to listen to it. If you're just afraid, can I do it? You can do it. I had someone talk me into, like, a couple times actually in my life, I was talked into taking a job that I knew wasn't a fit. One time it was my dad, God bless him. But like, I knew that the pay was too low and I didn't like the place. He said, but it's secure, but it's predictable, but it's safe. And I was like, I let him talk me into it. I didn't last. The first day I went there, I thought this is a mistake. 6 months in, I had to get out. I started looking. I was gone like 7 months. So that was one time. There was another time where I was encouraged to do something else in a job, like it wasn't a promotion, but it was like take another job within a company, and I knew it was a mistake. So, but sometimes you end up listening to someone because you like or respect them, but they don't know you. You know you. Get some distance and separate yourself from that voice. And for those of you that had the 5 of Swords this week, that voice can be that. It can be a little bit of gaslighting, just to protect you. And they're kind of trying to talk themselves and you into it too. So you shouldn't have to talk yourself into something really, really good. Okay? All right. So crossing this, we have the 5 of Pentacles. This is about reaching out for help. I love this. It's a different version. We saw the earlier one where basically someone feels like they don't know who to reach out to. I'm not going to worry about pulling it up here again, but you saw it earlier where they're on the outside looking in. Here, they're just afraid. This is more the rebounding 5 of Pentacles. So in the past, someone wasn't there, didn't offer you the helping hand. Now you're looking at what was lost in the past, and you're missing the fact that there might be resources or assistance within reach. So he just needs to lift his hands up, and he's got support there. So find the support. And it may not be here right now. You might have to seek out the connection, but it's within reach. That's what this is showing. And it's also okay to mourn the loss of something, material or otherwise, especially health. When I was going through all that I'm going through right now, because some of it may be permanent, I don't know. I was talking to another friend who knew someone that had a much more difficult situation, and it just helps you recalibrate. You're like, you know what? I got nothing to complain about. I can deal with this if I have to. So whatever you're going through, there's probably 10 other people that are going through something equal to or greater than. And so the good thing is you're not alone. And another good thing is you may have it easier, and you can see the silver lining. Like, well, how can I cope with this? And I know that this could have been worse. and I'm taking care of it now. So whatever it is, financial, health, or even relationship, because all of those can be comprised within this. Why didn't I see the signs, like in a relationship? Or why did I invest in this and not this? Hindsight is always easier to see stuff with. So the sooner you pick up the pieces and reach out for the support, the better things get, okay? Give me just a second here, buddy. I see you. All right. So, sorry, apologist needed something. Looking here in the deep past, we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. So emotions may have been running high for a large part of this year. Some of you have been dealing with a lot, and we have like this school of fish all teaming up around the Knight. So this, and the teaming up thing is kind of interesting because there could be a lot of pressure on you. Maybe you're the breadwinner in the family, right? Or you're the one who takes care of an older parent or someone, even a sibling that needs assistance. Emotionally, I'm seeing this is very much caretaker energy. It feels a little draining. And because it's a Knight, it's constantly going here, going there, doing this, doing that. And so it's important here to have boundaries and know when and where and how often you can show up. When you establish them, keep those boundaries and, reinforce them. I think it's really, really important. Knight of Cups in reverse is also about letting things go, releasing them from your thought process. It doesn't always help to kind of fixate on something, but like one thing that when I say letting go, I want to be more specific, because it is about understanding that your thoughts, your heart, your time is valuable. So freeing yourself from things can allow other things to flow through. So what's coming through is like a mental block or dam that won't allow the energy that would very much flow in the Knight of Cups. And we can see that here if we come in really close. We want to make sure things are flowing. And when it's reversed, there can be a blockage. So who, what, or where do you see this block? What's creating the block? And the block is there so that you can release something. It could be a block around your creativity, your money, your self-worth, because Five of Pentacles can be that. So when you let it go and just think, let me move past this and try it anyway, that's when things get exciting. But definitely focus on self-care. And if there's something that you need or want, absolutely, this is the time to speak up. And that's nicely tied into Queen of Pentacles. So when she's upright, she wasn't how I pulled her today, but when she's upright, she is second only to the Empress. She represents birthing, creating. She has a green thumb. So anything that she touches grows. That's why this card is so lush. Same thing with the King of Pentacles, even the traditional one. There's always like vines and abundance all around them. So you've done a great job in your life helping others. I'm going to see if I can find the King too. But this is a moment where the universe is encouraging you to take care of yourself. So if we look at these two, they have so many symbols of abundance. The King, he has vines growing all over him. The Queen has a bunny rabbit, which, as you know, reproduces pretty quickly. And she also has that coin there, which can represent giving birth to something. So lots and lots of movement. Now turn it inward. What do you need to thrive? What do you need to shine? To get into the whole energy of blazing into your possibilities. Put it inward for a change and for now. And if there's something that you really need or want to put back together or to put into place, this is the moment. It isn't selfish, it's self-sustaining. The fact that she showed up in the past tells me it's time. You've given enough, now you need to receive. So the hardest thing to do might just be to ask, I want this, I need this, I'm ready for this. But once you speak it into existence, it can start to happen. Okay. I love that we actually have possibilities here in your crowning position, if I can keep it in the upright position here. All right, so we have the Three of Wands coming through. What's cool about this is how I like an active Three of Wands? We literally see the hand reaching out and three of the fingers representing the possibilities. So this is someone meeting possibility halfway. Usually there are ships coming in on the horizon, and there is a passive energy to that sometimes I think, you've got to get out there. You have to get in the car or go take a walk or take a plane ride somewhere and meet the possibility. It can make it happen even faster. So here's the good news. No matter what you do, you're in a good direction. But rather than waiting, what if you reached out and just got there a little bit faster? So that's like the cosmic hand that appears in all of Rider-Waite-Smith, just saying, let's go faster. It's okay to ask. This card involves travel. It's connected to manifestation, and it has an immediacy to it. So if you're trying to do something, it's happening. If you want something, it's there. I like that she's opening her arms up to receive. Let's do this. Let's bring this in. So whatever it is that you want to do, now is the time, and it's closer than you think. In the near future, we have Nine of Wands, which is a card of perseverance, hard work, and never giving up. It also is another note for self-care, because sometimes when we're constantly going and going and going, that's a lot of endorphins, that's a lot of focus, and a lot of times it will, it kind of creates this difficulty in concentration. There's so much going on that you have to just breathe and think, okay, what do I need to do next? How do I feel? What's going on here? And we have to kind of like decompress a little bit. Mental fatigue is a real thing with this. Even just needing to take a mental health day. We don't see it so much here, but there's normally a bandage around their forehead. What I do like about this is she's almost taking the stance of what you see in the Seven of Wands. So in the Seven of Wands, it is held to the side, and it's basically, sometimes you have to defend yourself or you have to push back. And that lesson is now being pulled through to the Nine of Wands. Normally the person stands up and they're just holding that, but sometimes you still have to push. But you've done it with the experience of 7, 8, and 9. So this time it's going to stick, whatever it is you're trying to do. And you're one step away from the finish line. That's why these two are very, very good. It's happening, and it just maybe requires one step, one phone call. I was talking on the daily about, like it'd be a good time to reach out to someone, and someone said, well, offices are closed. And I said, you never know who might answer an email or a phone call, and you might be the first that gets the call back on Monday. Like you never let that stop you from taking the step. And sometimes people do work on the weekends and they'll reply to your email. So yes, but, why not reach out? Why not get it started? Sometimes tomorrow you get busy and then time slips away. Follow up tomorrow, but start it today. And that's what I'm kind of getting here. Push through even those mental blocks. Well, no one's going to listen. This isn't going to happen. You never know. Maybe there's some place that you could walk in. So always explore the possibilities, and that tenacity, which is a part of this, will pay off. So I hear what you're saying, but I'm also pushing you to look beyond that. Because sometimes if you state your case in a way that is kind and you can put the urgency behind it as well, people are open to it. So kindness and clarity and maybe a little bit of urgency, you might be able to get to the top of the line. You never know. Demanding it isn't going to help, but a kind and thoughtful sort of like wish can often get through. All right, let's see how you're showing up right now. Some of you are very impatient or frustrated with how slowly things are moving. The Hanged Man represents a necessary pause. The universe may be encouraging you to do what we saw at the center. Take a break. Take a step back. Clear your thoughts. Clear your head a little bit. There's probably another way, maybe a better way to do this. So the Hanged Man in reverse is encouraging you to look in a new direction, to see the world from a different angle, to turn something, to flip the script. That's another thing that the Hanged Man does really well. And typically we see a halo. He has one kind of like topsy-turvy on his head, but the sun behind him is like a nimbus. This brings enlightenment. The pause helps you, and it shows a path that you wouldn't see otherwise. This is Odin in Nordic mythology, and he purposely hanged himself from the tree of knowledge in order to get the secrets of the runes. So hanging out just a moment or two longer than you normally would before making a decision, sitting with what's going on just a little bit longer before you move on is going to help you not repeat karmic cycles right now. So one of the ways to blaze into the possibilities is to make sure you're dismissing old karma so that you can move onward and upward. Okay? All right. In the environment, we have Three of Swords. This is probably one of the biggest things that you need to clear right now. It isn't necessarily you at all. This is what's around you. This could be conflict in the workplace, people that are upset. This can be a breakup. This can be someone in your friend or family group that's just unhappy. Even though it's not you, it affects you. It gets in your energy a little bit. We'll do the solar meditation of a smaller version of it, like a 1 or 2 minute at the end. But I'm going to try to help you kind of like blast through that and cut some cords. It definitely feels like cord cutting is necessary. Person, place, or environment, they all have the ability to get into our space, and then that gets into our heart and then our energy. So it's interesting that we would like associate heartache with breakup or you broke my heart. Emotions sit in the heart center. So we really want to open up our heart, our lungs, and let that stuff go. Breathing can help clear the heart as well. But speaking your mind if you need to. But I really want you to pay attention to your heart and how you feel and what you're holding here from the present, from the past, and from the environment. That's the biggest area that needs to be cleared. Some of you aren't happy with where you're at in one of those things, an environment, a relationship, a place in your life. It's okay to not like something because knowing what you don't want helps you find what you do, helps you know what you do like, who you are. So it is contextual information that isn't fun at all, but it's very helpful. So use it as it is, like a wayfinding mechanism. Something you don't like, good. Let's not do any more of that if possible, okay? And that leads us nicely to this. You can say no. You can quit. You can get a divorce. You can create the balance that you need. You can fight for something. Because justice reverse can be injustice or imbalance. And so when something isn't balanced or, is kind of like out of whack, then you need to bring it back into order. This can very much be standing up for yourself or someone else. And ultimately with this, one of the things that you want to really remind yourself and others is that you are worthy. And you're not afraid to fight. They may be surprised at your tenacity or your newfound power or whatever, but so be it. And you may need the help of someone else. This is an expert usually. The only thing that is coming through as I'm thinking about this is, if you don't believe it, they're not going to believe it either. So we have to put this back together, this sort of pentacle that's been broken. We have to reach out a little bit and create the movement here, and then get to this place where you're like, not only am I ready, but I really know that this is something that needs to happen, and it's because of this, this, and this. Get the data, get the support, get the confidence within. Otherwise, people aren't going to listen. It's kind of like if you've ever seen a teacher or a parent and they try to tell their kid no, and the kid looks at them and they quickly judge they don't mean it, and they do it anyway. All right, finally, you're having a difficult time releasing someone or something. That Three of Swords energy that we had in the environment. This person literally is just with their eyes open at night. I totally understand that. I've been there. Usually this is not the card of sleeplessness. This is the card of absolute rest. I'm going to pull that one for a second. The sleepless one should be the Eight of Swords, and I respect, artists' choices here. So what I would say here is it's time to let it go. Because what we see in this version, also the one that I have, but the Three Swords, which represents the Three of Swords, above the person, and they've decided, I'm done with that. And then they can get that fourth sword, which is going to give them something tomorrow to begin. New energy, new vitality, and the ability to take action on it. And they're letting it go. This is a sepulcher, a fancy word for like a coffin. So you're putting something to rest, ostensibly permanently, so that you can move forward. So there's still something that is attaching some of you to a habit, a person, a place, an environment that you can't quite let it go. So as we go into the expanded forecast next, I'm going to try to help you through that so that we can help you blaze. And we'll take a look at like a couple of readers' choices at the end to make sure that we're hitting on everything with the special topic, but I feel like we've already seen a lot of helpful notes. All right, so health, wealth, love, and destiny. Let's dig in and see what's going on with all of you. All right, so we're going to start off with the energy of health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. Let's see what is coming through. Morning dew. Morning dew, girl. All right, so here's a fun fact. Like when I was a little kid, I was born in the West, and then I moved to the East Coast of the United States, and now I'm back on the West Coast. But one thing that I never saw as a kid, there were two things that were new, actually three. Like I'd never seen a firefly. I'd never seen or heard a cicada or whatever else they're called, locust or whatever. No, the cicadas. They just have this really loud sound, and they look like prehistoric flies. And also, I didn't see dew because I lived in like some desert states, and I was like, why is the grass wet? why are all these little beads of light out here in the morning? And my dad was like, yeah, that's the dew. So every morning you get this reset where it's kind of like a chance to see, well, it's nourishment too. So I want you to start the morning off. Think of the dew as all these little beads of possibility out there. The plants, the grass, everything drinks it in. That's why the East Coast is so much greener, particularly like in the Mid-Atlantic region, versus somewhere like Arizona, California. California has its pockets, but some of the western states have a little bit more arid climates, like especially the Rockies and things like that. So you just have to, it's nice to see differences in climates. But I noticed how much things thrived with that little bit of nourishment in the morning. So it's not a lot. It was just a few beads of water. So in the morning, if you can feed yourself with a few little beads of thought, like, you know what? I'm really ready for this. You know what? I've done a good job with this. Gratitude. It's like daily gratitude. I'm grateful for this. I'm ready for this. I'm happy about this. I'm putting these little, it's like breadcrumbs, if you will, of hope in the path so that I can see things light up. And they do look like diamonds. So when the sun hits the dews just perfectly, it's like a sea of diamonds. Very cool. Like that was fun because I think, how old was I? Was I nine? Yeah. So there were a lot of things to me that were new. Humidity was new to me too. And I don't love that. And I don't miss that. I just remember thinking, why am I so hot and clammy? And I feel like I need to shower twice a day. And so it's fun when you're not used to different climates, or like when you go back into a winter climate, you're like, God, I forgot how cold it can be when you step outside. So this is kind of waking you up. All of those things come to mind, looking at the world from a different perspective and seeing the possibilities, because it's morning and those little dewdrops can feed you with possibilities. So start off with a healthy attitude. That's what I'm really getting there. Okay. Okay. Now let's look at some other messages for health. This is the most important one. Something in the environment needs to be cleared. Person, place, thing, or just the general energy. It's just not, it's not for you. So whoever or whatever represents the Three of Swords, it is around you, not within you. That needs to be dealt with. It does affect you, though, even if it isn't directly, you still need to kind of like focus on clearing that, and the sooner the better. Some of you may be stuck there for a little bit, but I do see something turning here. So Three of Wands can represent something happening in the next 2 or 3 weeks that can change how this is. So right now it feels heavy because this is a lot and you're like, I don't want this. And you literally have a card saying, I don't want this, and it's causing stress. So I want you to start looking now for ways to eliminate your Three of Swords, whomever or whatever it might be. Okay? Take care of your body right now. This can be a cold, a flu. It can also be your lower extremities. Let's see if I still have that. I might need to grab it. So the Five of Pentacles can represent, for those of you that might have a past injury with your ankle or your foot, or maybe you just need to change your shoes. That's something that we forget sometimes, or get them resoled, something like that, because our feet carry so much of our life and our energy and our weight, and we don't always give them the love that they deserve. Here's your Five of Pentacles. So we see someone in crutches there, and you've got to take care of yourself. As we start to get into colder and wetter months in the Northern Hemisphere, be mindful of where you're walking, to make sure, like nowadays, you just need to not use your phone while you're walking, and make sure that you don't slip on something. Even if it's a perfectly beautiful day, there could be a banana, some oil, something slippery on the ground. So whether driving, walking, riding a bike, you just have to really tune into what's in front of you. Put the phone away, put the device away. Be careful with how much you treat yourself. And I totally get it. Like, so there's a difference between a small piece of dark chocolate and an entire package of it or whatever. Like, and we have Halloween coming up, so it's a good warning. Just a few bites, nothing's gonna hurt. But like, this is overindulgence. Too much water, well, you can't have too much water, but like too much caffeine, it's hard to have too much water. Too much caffeine, too much sugar, too much smoking, too much drinking, whatever the vice is, less of that. So enough said. If you are in a sort of exercise moment in your life where you're trying to go to the gym more, workout, etc., be mindful of how much you're pushing yourself. And also, this is going to this, it's stress management. Everything has a breaking point, and because we have this, you don't want to do it. Believe it or not, you can break your foot by lifting something. That's how I broke my foot back in 2022. I was moving, and there was a little uneven thing on the ground, like a little pebble or stone, and it made me, like, I had this very heavy box that I was lifting, and just that slight unevenness, I had like a metatarsal crack. It was a nice clean break, and I did get over it, but like, I always get help moving now. It's just not worth it. But if you're working out, like lifting weights, and you kind of hobble a little bit, you can pull a muscle, you can break a bone. You want to be very careful. Don't push it. It's not worth it. There's other things you can focus on. Be kind to your body. Okay? And I think that's pretty much it. And this Justice in reverse could be inner ear issues like I was talking about. It could be walking issues if you're dealing with vertigo, balance. A lot of times that is the ear. I've had vertigo issues in the past. I wonder if even last year there wasn't like a sensitivity coming through. But a lot of times it'll be physical, but it's something else. Blood sugar can cause imbalance. There might be something imbalanced in your just general health, and wellness. So talk to a professional. I always get blood work every year just to make sure that the numbers are where they need to be. And I see all of the different professionals from eyes to ears to all parts of the body. We got to check it out. So make sure that you're getting the support you need so that you are balanced. And then Four of Swords. In reverse, there's another thing with this. So this will help out as we look at the different meanings of these. So this could just be you have too much going on and you're cutting yourself short on sleep. So when I couldn't get to rest or couldn't rest last night just because there's been so much going on, I knew that meditation would help recharge me too. That was why I was doing it. I'm like, you can lay awake in bed or you can go into a deep state of like trance energy that will be almost similar to sleep, and then eventually you'll go to sleep. So I chose to do the latter. And it was very fun and relaxing, and meditation can be creative. There was a point in my meditation where I could see myself going out into the stars. I was trying to connect with my guides, and then they were showing me like find the light within, and then I did that, and then I felt really calm, and then I went to sleep. So to me, it was a journey. I took a little journey into time and space, and then felt very relaxed. And then I woke up this morning and I have the energy that I need because I wasn't laying awake watching something on my phone or worrying about stuff. I'm like, well, I can relax, I can meditate, and my body can receive healing in a different way. So if you have insomnia, that's my fix for it, is I try to meditate and then have a really positive experience. So you can try that. But there might be too much going on in your schedule right now, and it's time to cut it back just a little bit. You can only do Four of Swords reverse for so long before something gives. you'll get sick, or you're just going to not be able to concentrate or focus. And so better to have those boundaries now than later. Okay. Let's move on to wealth, resources, life purpose, and career. All right, we have amethyst and the word metamorphosis and way too many words. All right, you know me in words. I'm like, we don't need to have 2 or 3 sentences, but it says you are in a vortex of deep transformation. Surrender to the process that's unfolding. So I think all of that is comprised within metamorphosis, but that's just me. All right, so an amethyst is a form like a crystal. So what we want to do is to get clear. When I think of a very beautiful gemstone, I think of something that is clear, that has, you know, a good sort of ability to see through it. So it does feel like one of the things that you can focus on in your wealth is to get crystal clear on what you want and don't want. A vortex of deep transformation. I do love the words there. Vortex representing this deep channel of energy that's coming through. The Magician card in the minor, that's a major arcana, is basically showing you that you can pull in energy from the universe and then channel it. And that basically is what it is. It's the card of channeling, mediumship, and creativity. And so open yourself up to receive and to move through the change without getting exhausted. I was in dreams, I saw all of the different, like, I saw people that weren't willing to make the change and they were kind of like falling into the cracks. But the people that were able to get ahead of the change could move beyond all of this sort of like shifting plate tectonics in my mind's eye. So it's important to move when you can, to embrace the necessary move. And that's kind of what I was picking up on there. Okay, so we're looking at money. We're looking at work, commerce. So let's take a look at this in 5 categories. Pretty much everybody's covered with this. So for those of you that currently have a job, here's what I see. Some of you are ready to leave. Not everybody, but some of you are ready to leave because we have justice reversed there. And I get it. It's good to know that you don't want it. Like, there could just be something about the environment that's not great. There might also just be a glass ceiling where you're not getting the advancement that you want, need, or deserve. Totally makes sense. And they may be keeping you up at night, or there's too much on your plate and you just feel like I'm going constantly. In this situation, I honestly feel like this is the thing that needs to be cleared, and there's something better waiting for you, okay? But let's say that you're okay with your job, you're just dealing with some challenges. Here's what I see. First of all, you've done enough. You need to ask for some help. Say no to things if there's not enough time, energy, or resources, and realize that that's like you too. There's only so much you can take before you break. We don't want you to break, okay? If you have vacation, back when I used to have a traditional job, I know this time of year they would say, like, because they didn't like to keep vacation on the books, so they would usually want you to take it. So make sure you're taking your vacation. If you have it as a benefit. I didn't have all of my career in a place where I had. So fun fact, so I talk about corporate, but only 8 years of it was I not freelance. I used to freelance for a big part of like the 15 years. So for a lot of it, I didn't get benefits. There's maybe a year in between where there was some stuff. But so when I finally had the ability to take a vacation, I was like, and I get paid? And I don't have to worry about my job not being here when I come back? Because there was one company that I worked at for 4 years and I couldn't take a vacation. I'm sure it was illegal. But like when you're freelance, you don't actually get that option. You can take it at a loss, but you're not going to get paid. So why would you take it? So when I could do it for those 8 years, I did it. Like even now, if I take a break, nothing happens. It's a complete loss. Yes, I work for myself, but I don't think I've taken much of a break in the past 10 and a half to 11 years. So you have to take it if you have it. Not everyone has that privilege, myself included. So make sure that you're taking breaks so that you don't break. I do it in different ways. I've changed up my production style. Even if people don't like it, it's like I don't want that to happen to me. You've got to protect yourself, okay? Let's see what else is coming through for you. I actually feel like there's an opportunity on the horizon. It could be where you're at, but it's not going to probably happen within the next 3 months, maybe by the end of the year, maybe next year. But one thing that kind of bothers me with the Justice card in reverse when I'm looking at where you're at, it might just be the track record with following through on a promise. Get it in writing. Get it in writing so that if you have to pursue a different track, like working with your boss's boss or HR or something, you're like, hey, we agreed to this. So get it all in writing and make sure that you're okay. Otherwise, here's the good news. You're doing a great job. They'll take as much as you're willing to give. You're creative. You have good vision for the future. You bring things to the finish line. It's just a lot. So you don't have to work so hard. It isn't worth it. Unless you are doing something that's life or death, like saving patients' life, but like paper pushing job or like an average job where there isn't enough support and the deadlines are unrealistic. They have to sometimes see that they're not supporting people in the way that they need to. And I would encourage in this situation that you look, okay? The good news is there's nothing imminent in this spread that shows that you need to worry right now, except this. So make sure that they don't do anything that's against policy or something that you've agreed to, because you've worked hard and I can see that, okay? And you can ask yourself too, do you live to work or work to live? And if you work to live, then you can pull back a little bit from this and focus on other things. If your job is really important to your identity, then you're either going to resolve this and get them to do what they said they were going to do, or you might pivot in a different direction, okay? All right, moving on to those of you that are entrepreneurs. Let me take a drink. I might need to get some lozenges because my throat's still a little sore. But I'll get through this category first. All right, for entrepreneurs, right now it's important to not overextend. I think a lot of you are dealing with some of the unexpected costs that came through this year, especially like with tariffs and trade and all of that, but also just strange economy. So the Five of Pentacles is telling me you're at that point that you can't add things and you can't absorb much more. So if you don't want to pass on costs, then you'll just take something off market that you can't afford to deliver, or you'll delay like how fast it's going to get out, or you're going to charge more. Something has to give with this Five of Pentacles. You maybe can absorb it for another month, but not much longer than that. This is the breaking point. So it has to get passed on, the cost. And there may be people in your company that need more because of what's going on. And it's kind of like a strange situation. I feel like not every country, but there are some countries where we're on the precipice right now, I think, of an adjustment period. So you have to find a way to balance out your company's needs, your needs, and then the employees. So if you're an entrepreneur and you have a couple people working with you, try to find that balancing act, and it may change from week to week, day to day, month to month. Flexibility is going to be important. I do think you can juggle this and make it work. And that's the best piece of advice I have on that. When it comes to legal matters, scrutinize everything. With the Justice card in reverse, you have to make sure you're following regulations and policies, and you don't want to sign up for something that ends up being not good for you. So everything needs to be balanced and equal when it comes to your contracts. Things are just going to go a little slower than you might want. I can see the stress. You can manage, but if you can afford to get someone, and I don't know if you can, but if you can get someone else in short-term help, maybe just for a week or two, that can also help with the sleep piece. I don't think there's room to hire right now, but maybe short-term seasonal help could also assist. Okay. Let's move on from entrepreneurs to job seekers. Job seekers. It's challenging. It's interesting to see that both Justice and the Nine of Wands are kind of like pushing and fighting and trying to get things. You have the ability to manifest something, but the timing isn't what you want. Like this week, there may not be a lot opening up, but one thing that could work in your favor is somebody could fall through a background check, because the Justice card in reverse can represent someone wanted to hire something. Someone rather. So let's say you got to know you were a second choice or something. Don't give up hope on something if you were really, I feel like a first choice could fall out for some companies, and then they might call you back. So you might get, because this is the second chance card. So if you had a fantastic interview and they were like, we really liked you, we went with someone more senior, we went with this person, just wait and see if like the background check doesn't work, or if they flake and don't show up, or if they just decide they don't want to be there. You may still make it second round. Also, it may come through in the future where they may have another position down the line, maybe when you're not even looking for a job, and they'll reach out. You made a good impact somewhere, but you're not making this cut. So it's more of a like long-term thing that I'm seeing. I can definitely feel the financial crunch, but I think you can make it work. And I think that if you persevere enough, this Nine of Wands shows me this is a week to be a little bit more pushy, like following through on things. Something may break, but it is competitive, and it may take a few weeks. It may take until the middle of next month for something to kind of come through. I always say what I see. One thing that you can do to help is to look at different geographic locations. This is travel and this is travel. So if you are willing to travel or to move, you can find something faster. You just have to make sure that the commute or the relocation is worth it. For the students out there, this is the time of year where people get sick. So make sure that you're, getting enough rest, eating well. If you believe in flu shots, getting those flu shots, and masking up if you need to, if you're like traveling on a plane, because a lot of people can be sick. All the precautions. I tend to do everything that I can to, and I'm glad I did get a flu shot this year, because I'm doing all this stuff that could interfere with that. So at least I know I gave myself that extra thing. But I know each person has their own choice. So whatever it is that you want to do to help you out, like take care of that, because I can see a little bit of a tendency here to get run down. So you want to take care of yourself. Let me see what else is going on here. I do feel like you're actually absorbing a lot here. So school looks good, but there's something here that needs to be dealt with. There could be, maybe you just broke up. There could also be something going on in the family, or even like your roommates driving you crazy. So I get environmental stresses that could take you away from the school. Take care of that and make sure that you're healthy and happy. Okay? Otherwise, that's it. It's really more mental health, some finances here for sure, and then just like environmental things. But overall, when it comes to like learning and school, it feels like you're in a good space. Retirees. Definitely feeling the financial crunch right now. Also, it could just be that there's a lot of people around you that constantly have open hands asking for things, and you have to pick and choose how you're going, because you have to take care of yourself. So pick and choose how often to kind of help out with some of those things. But it feels like for you, I get this sense of impatience and imbalance here. So if there's something that you want to or need to do more, part of it is travel. I know it's like the financial piece may be a part of that. Maybe you can travel with someone. Maybe you can travel locally. Maybe you just need to get away from things a little bit and get some space. It is about sort of doing some soul searching. I think that would help you out quite a bit. Let's take a look at love and relationships and see what's coming forth. The card reads, my aura is magnetic to golden opportunities. Hello, hello. This is what I was talking about in my meditation last night. You can use the energy of like a sun. Believe it or not, our sun is not yellow. Even though it looks yellow, it's like a bluish white, or even like a clear white. But because of our atmosphere, it comes through more yellowish. And like the reason that we have the golden hour right before the sunset is that the yellow and orange light, it's like it can travel the furthest, or the red light. And it's more just like, it's an illusion. So if you were to go and look at it from the moon, it's more like pure white. But you can use golden energy too. There are different color stars, gold, blue, red. But using that golden energy is very healing. But you can even go brighter and wider to like, if you combine all of the colors in the light spectrum. So there's the designer in me. So light, when you combine it, goes white. Colors on paper, when you combine it, usually goes black, because they all are additive. But anyway, the combination of everything in the rainbow would be the white light. So imagine that you comprise all the colors, all the possibilities, and then blast that out. My aura is magnetic to golden opportunities. You'll attract people, partners, and connections that can bring you up, level you up by doing that. So I think we'll go into that in the meditation today, because I keep getting indications that that could be helpful. Let's see what's going on with people that are already partnered, okay? All right, so if you're in an existing partnership, travel could be tugging a little bit at the sort of sense of stability in the relationship. So if one or both of you are busy, or one or both of you are going a mile a minute, you don't even have to be like traveling to different countries. It could just be like your day is completely booked, and by the time you get home, make dinner, and sit down, it's like 7 or 8 o'clock, and there's no energy left for each other. Then it's important to take some time and take some space and just spend it together, the together time. And it doesn't have to be intimate. It can just be like, let's just sit here and have a meal together, or, you know, walk after dinner, or drive together in the morning, like finding little pockets of time for the intimacy to be there. That will lead to the physical intimacy too, but it's more about like emotional and just connecting. I feel like that might be something that's missing in partnerships. I see a lot of love here. We have a knight and a queen, nicely matched. One partner needs a little bit more validation. The other one needs to see a little bit more like cooperation, or they want you to show up. This one wants to like just feel the love and hear it. This one is like, show me that you love me, say that you love me. So communication and love language is slightly different, but it will work out. It just takes a little bit of work. There may have been a recent argument, and very clearly one or both of you think that you're right and the other person's wrong, and the truth is it's probably somewhere in the middle. So finding that middle ground and deciding how to validate, but also say, like, can it be a little bit of both? Like, I could have done better, you could have done better, I can agree to help with this, can you help me with this? Rather than it's all you or it's all me, because the binary stuff isn't going to be very effective at getting into equal space. Some of you have just decided, though, like, enough is enough, and that's okay. I think that is a small subsection, but from what I'm seeing here, it looks like you've given it time and space. So if you've done it and you're ready to move forward, I do think it's okay. But for everyone else, it just looks like you're a little overworked, a little overstressed. You need to find the middle ground and create something that feels balanced for both. Because that's what I'm seeing here. One person feels like, I'm just burned out, I'm doing all of this, I need you to show up as much as I'm showing up. Okay? All right. Let's go to single and looking. If you're single and looking, I would say leave the past in the past. We have a Knight of Cups in the past, so water, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, that probably should be left in the past. Same thing even with the earth signs. I think that right now, if you're single and looking, the best is yet to come, but I don't actually necessarily see it all coming in this week. If it is, we have 2 cards of distance. It feels like that person is wrapping some things up. Could be a Libra, but they're not ready yet. I think right now, hanging out, resting, taking care of yourself, resolving anything that in your heart isn't ready to kind of like make space for somebody, like take care of you. We could look at that 9 of Wands and see it being like a week and a few days, like 9 days instead of 7 days. So not quite a week and a half, but soon but not yet is what I see. Very possibly a Libra. The other thing here is you might be too fresh off the heels of a breakup or a bad experience, and you need to just clear that a little bit. You are ready, you are worthy, and it will be fine when everything comes together perfectly. But it feels like right now, leave the past in the past, focus on bringing in something bigger, better, brighter, and if you want to meet someone, get out in the world. Walking around, traveling, activities that you enjoy, these are places that you might meet someone and you could accelerate how quickly you can meet them. This is always your choice. I'm just interpreting potential path of least resistance, rather. Okay. Single and happy. Good for you. Like I said, it feels like the natural place to be this week. It's really important to decide what you stand for and what you don't, what you like, what you don't, what you want to fight for. So finding that and really creating equilibrium in your life, that's the number one thing. I pulled justice the other day. You can even listen to that. But it's important to say no to some things too. And then how can you create some more like recreation in your life? Rest and rehabilitation, like all of that. R&R. You need a little bit more. Anything you set your energy into this week will see a very positive response as well. Okay? Let's go to destiny. We have an archangel card here. Jeremiel, I think it is. Personal responsibility. Take responsibility for your choices. This is an opportunity for inner growth. Easier said than done, right? So accountability also goes nicely with responsibility. So if somebody calls you out on something, you can say, thank you for calling my attention to that. Sorry that that didn't happen. I'm on it, and it won't happen again. That's sometimes all they want to hear. And if they keep wagging their finger, just say, I hear it. I hear you. Why don't I get to it right now, and then we can talk later today? And be like, okay. It's when you try to do the 5 of Swords thing that it gets in the way. There comes point, I will say this. If they try to push something on you that is not correct, that is unjust, then you can say no. Actually, here's the email. Here's the conversation. I'm happy to help you with it, but let's not jump to an incorrect conclusion here. You asked me to do this, I did this. So get your data lined up. Keep a paper trail this week if you need to. And then you can come back and say, why, if you wanted this, we should have talked about this. I should have been focusing on this. And I think we both share the responsibility on this one. Something like that. You'll find a way to. But don't let someone push the blame on you if you don't deserve it. If you did something wrong, just admit to it. So because it was reversed, it could be a little bit of both. So if it is a little bit of both, say, I'll admit that I could have done this, but you didn't ask for this. So I could have checked, but you could have stated this. So 50-50 on this. All right, let's take a look at going a little deeper into this. Because it's the Phoenix, I'm going to move into Reader's Choice here for a couple of questions that I have, and I want to make sure that we answer everything that we need to. So Reader's Choice, let me see what I want to focus on. What is it that you can rise up from? So what is the anchor in your life? Okay. And how can you blaze into the possibilities? All right. The anchor in your life, you're moving too quickly. The Knight of Swords in the upright position, or you're moving too slowly. It's the extremes. This usually tells you to slow down. So focusing a lot less on how quickly something is done. So if you're rushing and the quality is missing, that could be your anchor. If you're procrastinating and no progress is being made, that could be your anchor. You need to move at the speed that feels right to you, and make sure that you take a moment to align to this and say, am I accomplishing what I set up to do? Does this make sense? You can ask questions. You can explore other opportunities in front of you. I think it's really, really important to make sure that you're not just moving for the sake of moving. That's the better way to put this. If it's too fast or if it's too slow, speak up. Blazing into possibilities, you have to move through this. So the Devil card is often a person who can't give you what you want, a place that doesn't allow you to grow, someone who says they're one thing but shows up as another. And what we want to do is push through that, unchain, unshackle yourself from that. And don't be afraid to stand up to this energy. What the Devil doesn't like is integrity, love, kindness, honesty, transparency. And these aren't hard things to have in your heart. So just we're going to go into it in the meditation here, but we're going to break the chains that might be around your heart, break any sort of anchors that might be in your life, and just shine. You have to go into the star energy. It's interesting that they chose to put a star above this devil. So the devil doesn't really have its own light. It takes light from others. So you're going to push the light out. I've talked about the movie before, but Stardust, there's a pivotal point where the star does that. And I quite like it because it just is our moment to find the power within that we've always had. The devil wants you to think that you don't have power. So we're going to go to the opposite end, which is the lovers. You have power, you have unconditional love, you have support, and you can get through this. That will help you blaze into something better. And if there's anyone that tries to hold you down or hold you back, now is the time to release, okay? All right, let's go ahead and meditate. I might have I'll see if I have 5 more memberships. If I have them, I'll do it after the meditation, but let's meditate first. Okay, so please close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath with me. Hold that for a second. Push out the heart space. I even felt my sternum crack as I did that. So stretch a little bit and then exhale when you're ready. Perfect. Take your shoulders, move them forward, move them back. Let them just relax. Gently move your neck back and forth. Don't move too quickly. Forward and back, just enough to loosen all of the energy that we hold here. Give yourself a nice little massage to opening up the shoulders, the upper back, and working out any of the tension that you might be holding. You can even continue that down your arms, all the way to your fingers, just kind of like working the energy out, okay? Now with your eyes closed, you can cup your hands together, creating this sort of like cup in your hands, like a chalice, because we're going to open ourselves up to receive at the end. Lay that in your lap or on the table and close your eyes. Imagine that is the final moments of evening. So we are at right before dawn, basically. So you see a kind of bluish light all around you, but there is no source of light otherwise. So I want you to find the light within. Imagine, if you will, that you could turn your energy towards your heart space. Turn your third eye towards the heart. And see this gentle flicker of light in the very center of the heart. And it has this beautiful rose-colored hue to it. But as it starts to grow with each breath, you notice that it has all of the different colors of the rainbow. It's red, orange, yellow, blue, green, indigo, violet, purple, everything else in the rainbow in between. And as those colors start to move around and pulse and sort of oscillate, they all join together to form this beautiful ball of white light. I want you to imagine that it can start to grow with each breath that you can take. You can even take your hands if you want to, and start to feel the energy grow wider and wider and wider, outward and outward and outward, until you could stretch your arms as far as they can reach. And this is your auric field. It is bright, it is light, and it is so brilliant that it lights up the entirety of your environment, the entirety of the world. Imagine, if you can, you could even rise up from the planet into the stars above, seeing where you came from, seeing your resplendence, your resilience, your power. Feel in this moment now that you could push through anything that is shackling you in your life, that is holding you down. Think of the one person or the one thing that has been holding you back. Take a deep breath, as deep as you can. On the exhale, really push it out. And you can also push your arms out too, and push away whatever it is that you don't need or want. Seal it off with this white light that is all around you. Know that nothing can come through that except a person, place, or opportunity that resonates in the highest frequency. This protects you from people that have no business bothering you. This protects you from things that could cause you harm. It protects you from lower frequency emotions or attachments that can come in and get into your energy. It's clearing it all out. In this moment, right here, right now, if you listen to the meditation, you are clear. Do this as much as you need to throughout the week. Connect with your inner star and push it out. Push out the garbage. Okay? Take a couple of deep breaths and imagine that you're bringing your star back into your body, back into your heart, but your auric field reaches out to infinity. You have the ability to reach all the way to the stars and back if you need to. Okay? And at the very least, as you're walking through your day-to-day life, from arm to arm, you have that level of protection as you walk through life. Okay? Gently open your eyes on the next exhale and turn your question towards one final question or card. Okay, so we have the High Priestess coming through. She came through in the reverse position, and it's about trusting yourself. If you ask me a yes or no, the answer would be yes, but not until you believe. Because if you don't believe, it won't happen as easily. A lesson will be attached to it rather than something that's just natural and easy and fluid. Never underestimate your potential. If there's someone also in your life that comes through and you see through the motives, trust in that vision, you're being shown what you need to be shown right now. You're capable of manifesting, you're very creative, you're very tuned in. Trust in all of those things. And there's some things that, like, I honestly think there's some things that haven't even been revealed just yet. The best is yet to come. Okay? Thoughts and words manifest, though. So with the High Priestess in reverse, we'll try to go towards the affirmative, not the sort of like shame or fear or anger or despair. They all have a time and place, but not this week. Okay? All right. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a like and subscribe this video. Give me a follow after we're done on social media. You can always go to my website for more information, but typically it's my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all the major platforms. A simple way to give back and show support is through super stickers and super chat. You can do it right through the chat, like click on that little $sign into the chat and give a little love. I appreciate it. You can also do it through PayPal, and that's my direct address for that. It's also Nicholas Ashbaugh, obviously, but that's the full address. Okay, so let's take a couple moments, first of all, just to celebrate that we got through the reading. Always good to make time for one another, be here, and kick off the week in the right style, right? Let me see if I have any memberships that I can gift for those that decided to stick around, and I will do just that. Yes, we do. 5 more. So thank you, everybody who showed up. I thought today would be a good day to gift a few. All right, now let me take a moment to give some gratitude to all of you that gave back through a super sticker or super chat, or you celebrated an anniversary. So 1 second. All right, here we go. So we have Sew and Crafts. Thank you for being a member for 2 months. And I'm glad that you enjoyed today's reading. And thank you also for the sticker. So you're a member and you gave a sticker. Thank you for both. It looks like Colette gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Colette, for doing that. And then Deidre Brown sent 10. Oh my gosh, amazing, Deidre. Thank you. And then we have Angie celebrating an anniversary for 3 months. Thanks for sending peace to all of us. Oh, wow, Paula, thank you so much for that really generous sticker. And I'm glad that you like the consistency that I show up. I appreciate that. And I'm glad that this has helped. That's why I show up all the time, so thank you. Aquarius, Moon Sisters, thank you for becoming a channel member. Welcome aboard. Yolanda, thanks for the 5 CHF. I appreciate that. Let's see. Anna Maggie, I think it is. Thank you as well for your sticker. We see 2 other things here. Okay, so All Is Well in CA, or All Is Well in CA. Thank you so much for your kind membership gift, and then welcome to everyone that received it from me. I think that was everybody. So thanks, folks, for an amazing reading today. I'll be rolling out some more readings this week. I do have a move that's coming up soon, and I appreciate your patience while I've been dealing with some health stuff. Hopefully, I'll be on the other side sooner than later. I think we just got one more sticker. Alexandra, thank you so much. And thank you also to Dakota for your help in moderation today. Always appreciated. Gina Gonzalez, thank you for that sticker also. Let's see. We're going to pull Apollo up here at the end and wrap up. But before I do that, a little bit of love. Hey, Apollo, come here. Let's see how. Come here. He says no. He's sleeping on the floor. We'll let him be. He's now relaxed at the end when he could come up and say hello. All right, everyone, take care of yourself. Have a fantastic week ahead, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.